What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special guest joining us, a Division One hooper from West Virginia, Seth Wilson. Just want to say thank you for coming on and let me get the experience and do this interview with you. Definitely means a lot.
No
So just
problem.
want to, yeah, appreciate it. Just want to start it off with from the beginning. At what age did you start playing basketball, and what or who inspired you to pursue it?
Started playing um basketball, like little tykes hoops and stuff like that around the age of like 2. And then I started playing like organized basketball around the age of like 5. Um yeah, my dad he really inspired me. He was the whole catalyst for me starting to play. So without him.
Yeah. So, at what age did so obviously you started from a young age. So, at what age did you realize, okay, like it might be possible to actually take this to the next level? And at what age did you receive your first offer?
Um as far as, taking it to the next level, I can honestly say that from the time I started playing. I really loved the game, and that was always a vision and a dream of mine. So it's always been there, and I always thought like I could do it. And the age that I got my first offer, I was a freshman in high school, so I was 15.
Okay, wow. So, I know at there was a point where you transferred schools. You played
Mhm.
at St. Vincent St. Mary, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was just that type of experience before you ended up? I see you ended up transferring back. Obviously, we know, but for
Mhm.
everyone watching, what was just that experience for everyone watching that doesn't know? St. Vincent St. Mary is LeBron's high school that he went to. So, what was just that experience from playing for them and playing at LeBron's school and everything?
It was a great experience. Being there, it taught me a lot of things, like just different ways to attack the game. Um, Different ways that you can win games. How to win games. How much little things mattered and things like that. And it was just like I said, it was a great experience, great atmosphere. Having that reputation of being LeBron's high school, is definitely something that you want to live up to. So dealing with all that, like I said, it was just great, and overall I enjoyed it.
Okay. So I know from them, they had a guy who graduated in our class 2021, Malachi Branham,
Hmm.
who's playing for the Spurs right now. Did you play with him?
Yeah, yeah. From I want to say 7th grade to 10th grade, that was my teammate. Yeah, and then AAU, he was my teammate from that time as well. My best friend, like and we won a lot of games together, and I'm happy for him that he's playing for the Spurs and stuff now.
Yeah, he definitely had made a huge jump in college to be
Right,
able to take it to the NBA. He
right.
was a for everyone that doesn't know Malachi Branham. He got drafted this year. He was a first round pick to the San Antonio Spurs. But that's definitely had to be a crazy experience to not only play for LeBron's high school, but you're also playing with, well, I'm sure you knew it at the time, but not everyone else knew it, a future
Right,
NBA star. And obviously,
right,
his rookie season, he's had a great rookie season, and he's looking like to be a potential All Star in the future. So I'm sure
right.
that all that together definitely had to be a lot of pressure to lay on your shoulders and everything. But obviously, it's worked out for you too, as you're playing at the D1 level also. So I just want to talk about what like what ultimately made you decide on West Virginia.
I went down for an unofficial visit and stuff like that, and I knew I liked the atmosphere that they had. The fans were real great. They showed a lot of love. Um, and then too, like Coach Huggins, he really wanted me to be there, and I couldn't say no to playing for a Hall of Fame coach. So
Yeah,
to me, it just felt like a great family atmosphere, and it was a no brainer to go there for me.
yeah, for sure. They're definitely a great school, all around. Not even just basketball. They're a good football school too. They're
Right.
definitely well respected in all sports. So going on your visit and everything, I know you said the coach and all that. Was there anyone else who kind of played a factor in that, or kind of made you, all right, this is really my school I want to go to, or was it just him?
Naturally, talk to my parents, and they felt comfortable with me being there as well. We prayed about it, and talked to God about it a lot. And that just seemed like the answer, and that seemed like the right place to be. So based on those things, we just said, you know what, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna be all in about it.
Okay. So what was just your first like reaction or feeling to just when you signed to them? Because obviously going D1 in basketball, that's 99% of guys' dreams out here. Everyone dreams of getting to that goal, making it to that next level. But as you know, very rarely does it get to happen. It's a very small percentage of people who actually get to live out that dream and take it to the next level. So finally signing that paper and saying you're committed to West Virginia for basketball, what was just that first overall feeling of knowing like, wow, like I did it?
Um, it was huge, but at the same time, though, I knew that my work had just started. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Road didn't end, but just to be in that position is really a blessing. And I tried to really just at that time of signing, I really just tried to take it all in and really, realize the accomplishment that I had made and stuff like that. Like the fact that my parents don't have to pay for school, and I'll end up getting my degree, and I have the opportunity probably to play professionally afterwards, most likely, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, it's definitely just a blessing for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge accomplishment. So what grade did you officially commit to them?
Um, Officially, I think my sophomore year, I committed. Naturally, going through high school, I was still collecting offers and still seeing what other schools had to say. But in the back of my mind, I always knew like I low key wanted to be there. Because they're the best conference. They play in the best conference. They played in the best conference in America. So who wouldn't want to play at top notch competition all the time?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely good overall for experience and everything. So I'm sure that had to be, Joe, a lot of pressure from committing to them from sophomore year and knowing that, okay, you still have your junior and senior year, you need to continue to perform on the court to keep that offer and everything. So did that ever kind of play with your mind, or were you always just locked in, or did it actually end up benefiting you and making you work harder because you knew you had a standard to live up to now?
It was definitely beneficial. But at the same time, though, they encouraged me as well just to not worry about it and just keep getting better. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And on my just focus on my development and focus on really enjoying high school basketball. Those last few years that I had to play while being committed, like I said, and they just really, like I said, just made it more about my development and stuff like that. So they didn't really put any pressure on me about it or anything like that. But it definitely motivated me to make sure that I played, every night, but to the best of my ability because people were watching me and they wanted to see if it was all really real. You know what I'm saying? Me being committed there and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So who was did you have a top three of
Top
school?
three,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who was
So
that?
it was West V, Penn State, and then I wanted to like if I wanted to go like a little lower, I wanted to go to Bradley in Illinois. So those were my top three.
Okay. Dang, that's definitely a elite top three. So now I want to switch things over to it's time to finally go to West Virginia officially, to play there, to live there. Obviously, for everyone that doesn't know, you're from Ohio, and West Virginia's not just a quick little drive. So what's that experience? I want to ask you, what was that experience of first knowing that, okay, I'm gonna be away from home. I can't just go home now. Did you ever get homesick, or were you just comfortable? And then what was that experience of just your first impressions of just first being on campus, being on the team, officially being a Division 1 athlete now?
It's honestly not as far as people think. So that was really helpful. It's only 3.5 hours. So it's
Okay.
close, what I'm saying, closer
Yeah.
than Cincinnati stuff. But definitely got homesick a few times. That's which is normal
Yeah,
because it's honestly it's your first time living away from home. Um, and then too, like just adjusting to that everyday grind. Naturally in high school it's an everyday grind, but college it's a different level of grind. Every day in college you're going to war. You know what I'm saying? As far as workouts and stuff like that, because it's always competition. So adjusting to that and really, getting used to that was, it was definitely different. But all in all, I feel like I made that adjustment kind of well.
yeah, for sure. So, what would you say is the biggest difference that you noticed from high school basketball to college Division 1 basketball?
For me, probably just the speed of the game.
Speed of,
Your decision making window isn't as big as it is in high school as it is in college. The window really shrinks. Instead of having you know a few seconds to make a play in high school, you only have close to milliseconds to make a play in college. So you know,
yeah,
and the room for error is a lot different too. High school you can make mistakes and not maybe kill you as much, but in college you make a lot of mistakes, it'll definitely kill you.
yeah, for sure. Because now college, you go from high school, you being kind of that man, the main guy around. Now college, you got everyone who was the
Right.
man in high school, so everyone's just competing. Everyone wants their chance and all that. So obviously, you guys play against some of the best teams and some of the best players in the world. Is there of you've been playing against players who are featured top 10 draft picks and everything. So is there any player that kind of stands out to you that kind of what's the word for it? Kind of just gives you the most memory from a game playing against that team or certain player?
Probably Ochai Abaji that plays for the
Okay,
Jets.
yeah, he
That
hits
can't.
it. Yeah,
He was
for sure.
he was definitely one of those guys that you just had that you kind of knew like okay he's him. So that's definitely
Yeah.
Ochai. Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually ended up getting drafted by the Cavs last year in the first round. So
Right.
obviously, yeah, he ended up getting traded to the Jazz. But yeah, that's definitely crazy. I'm sure knowing in your mind you're playing against top future draft picks and everything, and obviously, hopefully yourself will end up being one of those too. So I want to ask you about obviously you guys played in March Madness this year. So what is that overall experience and just that atmosphere of because everyone watches March Madness and every year it never disappoints. Always something crazy happens, a crazy upset. March Madness is truly just unpredictable. So what's just that atmosphere and everything from a player standpoint like?
It's definitely it's definitely like a great experience from the standpoint of like, you always want to come back to it and you always want to try to get back there. But the best way to describe it is once in a lifetime. Um, you know, the the type of atmosphere that you're playing in is just one of a kind, because there's a lot at stake. You know what I'm saying? You're playing now like for your season, honestly, to keep going. You got guys on your team who are playing for their careers, their college careers, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's just a lot at stake, you know what I mean? And but it's overall just great to play in. You know what I mean? You have your crowd there. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you're at, you're traveling. It's great.
yeah, for sure. That's definitely March Madness is one of a kind. Just from even watching this, I'm sure playing in it is just got to be the whole. That's something you're obviously gonna remember forever, and not something most people get to experience because even every Division 1 school doesn't even make the tournament every year. So making March Madness is really something that's a tough thing to do. So do you have like a favorite memory or something just from being on the team and everything, or a favorite travel story or some favorite, or how about this? We do a favorite in-game memory and then a favorite off-court memory.
Okay. Favorite off court memory would probably be just me and the guys playing 2K in the hotels. We do that often, 2K tournaments. Just doing that. That's probably my favorite off court memory. And then on court, I gotta either say playing. I think it's probably playing against Texas Tech at Texas Tech. I shot pretty well that game. Yeah, I played pretty well. So that was definitely a top tier, on court moment.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously this year I've noticed you've been getting a lot more playing time in this past season from that first season. It seems like
Hmm.
you started to make that jump in college, and you're starting to make that jump to starting to improve to take it to that next level to that pro. So what's the going from a high school type of like workout in summer? What's like the college type of stuff like after your freshman year going into your sophomore year? What's it like being? Do you stay on campus to work out, or do you go back home and do
Um,
there?
it's really dependent on just what we got going on as far as a team.
Okay.
Naturally, after the season is over, we have time off. I choose to come home during my time off, and I work out at home, stuff like that. But while you're there, but then you go back, and while you're there, you're obviously putting in work
Yeah.
90% of the day. You know what I mean? So it's really half and half. That's the best way to describe it.
Okay. So take us through in season, your middle of the season, day in the life of just a quick like sum up of what it's like for you guys of day in the life.
During the season, usually get up around 8, 9 o'clock. I'll probably go get some shots till about 10, 11. Then I'll go to class. After class, be done around like 1, 2 o'clock. Have practice at like 3 or 4. And it varies because we lift on some days. We don't lift. You know what I'm saying? So some days I might have a lift. Some days I might not have a lift. But usually practice. Get out of practice around 6. Then after practice, I'll usually come back to the gym around like 9, 10 o'clock. Get more shots up. Go home. Get on the game. Go to sleep.
Okay. Wow. So you guys, yeah, it's definitely a busy schedule you guys have.
Hmm.
So obviously now you're at the point you're at. You started to make that jump and everything. What do you see as kind of your next step taking it through all taking it okay let me what's your next step to head into next season, like what's some of your goals you have, and then what's your next step after college?
Next step as far as season goes, I have is obviously just becoming better. Um, as a player, naturally as a scorer, as a defender, as a shooter, and then I think that also coincides with next step as a pro as well. Working on those things and making sure that I'm better at those things as well.
Okay, so after your college career you do plan on entering your name into the draft?
Yeah, definitely. After whether that be however seasons go, you
Yeah.
know, definitely that's going to be the plan because that's obviously the dream, and you can't make your dream a reality if you have a plan B. So ain't no
Yeah.
plan B. So I'm putting all my chips into that.
Yeah, for sure. But going to the NBA is definitely something you got to be all in on. That's something
Right.
that's definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity. So that's definitely something that's just a crazy experience. And obviously, you're on the right track to do that. You made the jump from last season being a freshman to now a sophomore. You started to make that jump, and now you're set for a breakout season coming up in
Right.
your junior year. So definitely got a lot to look forward to, and definitely be
Definitely.
room for you from back at home. So I want to ask you one last thing about it all. What would you say? Was there ever a point? Because obviously now you're at the point where you're not there yet, but you're on the track there. So you're become successful with it all. You got the Division 1 offer. You're playing at Division 1 school. You started to really get playing time this year. Your team made it to March Madness, and so you're on the right track. So was there ever a point, whether in high school or college or anything, where you kind of just got fed up and wanted to give up?
Definitely there's times like that. But at the end of the day, though, you gotta stay focused on. I try to stay focused on the end goal and the end dream, and really just double down on what I need to do in order to get better and stick with it, and do whatever I can to make sure that I keep it fun and that I love it all the same, because it's not work and it's not hard to do when you love it. So
Yeah,
keeping those things in perspective and always making sure that I understood those things, it really did help.
yeah, for sure. That's definitely a good mindset to have. So what I wanna just ask you a fun question. Who do you got winning the tournament? Obviously it's the final four right now. Who's your pick to win it all?
Honestly, San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Yeah.
I
I got
heard Florida Atlantic though, the one coach he came in the locker room after and said they were looking really good. He said they were their toughest team. Did you guys play against any of the Final Four teams like throughout the season?
um no, we didn't.
Okay,
No, I either got to go with San Diego State or UConn, and
UConn.
the reason why I say San Diego State is because their defense is top notch. And then another reason why I say UConn is just because UConn's just been running through everybody.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's one of them too. Obviously, the other two schools have a great shot. Miami and FIU definitely have the ability to win it, but because if they didn't have the ability, they wouldn't be there. But those are
yeah.
my two picks, and I got to take San Diego State over UConn.
Okay. So watching it as a fan perspective before you played in March Madness and everything, and now watching it as a player who's played in it, is it kind of like a different type of
Yeah,
feeling when you're watching the game after? Like you kind of think of it differently from when you watched it
yeah,
as a fan to watching it as now someone who's played in it?
yeah, definitely. Like, um, I was talking about this the other day. I thought the tournament was like way longer than what it actually is. It
Yeah.
seemed like when I was watching it as a kid and growing up, it seemed like the tournament lasted for months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as a player now, you look at it, it's really it can be over just like that and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. So, and like I said, you see things now way differently than what you did as a fan. You know what I mean? Like, as just a fan. So
Yeah.
there's definitely a difference.
Yeah. You seen De'Aaron Fox, what he said, like
Yeah,
it is kind of hard for him to watch it.
yeah.
Is that kind of something you can relate to? Obviously, like kind of not relate to that, but like from a fan's point to,
It's
uh,
it's more so hard to watch because you had the ability to be there.
yeah,
That's what makes it hard to watch. But
okay,
it's still great ball and stuff like that.
yeah,
But just knowing that you had the opportunity to be there and you're not there, that's what makes it rough.
yeah, for sure. I think kind of obviously everyone knows the NBA is obviously top notch, so obviously, I think that could kind of relate to what you're saying because, like you said, from watching it as a fan to watching it as a player is different. So obviously, he was a player in it, but now he's in the NBA. So I think it's just kind of obviously it's going to change your perspective of it as
Right.
you keep taking that next level and everything. But
Right.
that's definitely a once in a lifetime experience. And yeah, I know the tournament's been wild this year.
Yeah, a
It,
lot of upsets. It's
yeah, for
definitely
sure.
one edges.
Tournament's definitely been wild this year. Hopefully, you guys will still be playing at this time next year. Um,
Yeah.
it'll definitely be a great season for you coming up. Like I said, I think you're set for a breakout season. I mean, you could always tell like when a player's like getting on that verge, and I mean, you took that jump this year. So I think next season will really be it's your time to go. It's your time to really get attention of those NBA scouts and everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming down here and let me do this. Definitely wish you the best of luck with your
Thank you.
future this coming up season. Definitely be rooting for you. For everyone watching, again, this was Seth Wilson. Be sure to check him in West Virginia out next season as they'll be coming for it all next season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.